Hi, welcome to my live stream. Sorry for the setting. Okay, I'm Remy. Remy, you can call me Ray. I'm a game developer and I have a formation in game programming to game development. And I'm working on Driven, which is a crowdfunding platform. It's a feature-driven crowdfunding platform, and it would be a platform where you can put the process of your project, like a project management with some kind of a crowdfunding microsystem within the feature you propose for your project. And it's currently in a prototyping phase. I'm looking for supporters and investors. I would be working on it for the following years. And in February, I'm starting a business course. I'm following a business course to perfect my enterprise. And currently, I've started this month those live streams to build my community. And to start with that, I focused Driven into game development niche. So the live stream will not use Driven, but will be approaching project creation and starting to analyze what I can add to Driven later on. So I'm looking for a team of people who would like to work on video games, not professional people, because I'm trading my knowledge for free in exchange of people practicing my teachings and working on the game with me, if that is possible. Otherwise, I will just create the game on my side and show you the devlogs and the progress. Since no one showed up so far, that might be what would happen. So, if you want to support me, there is a link in the description below. You can tip me a smaller sum just for help, or you can become a Patreon with a larger sum of money. And a Patreon in exchange, I can help you with anything in game development. I would like it to be my teammates, but I guess that might be better to accept anyone willing to or wanting help on one-on-one help. So the past episode were about the position and game development, and I went over most of them. I compact the last one in the last episode, but not the previous episode, but the last week last episode. And this week I started market analysis for looking what our game will be, what genre, what the market is saying. It's important if you want to make a successful game because there are trends, and you can slip through the statistic, because statistic is strong. It's very a good way to find a possible realistic path instead of hoping like luck. The luck will hoping that the luck will guide you through success. Luck will come with bad luck, and the percentage in statistic is wider for bad luck. So if you want to make it like you want to make luck on your side, you need to don't go for hazard, but go for successful stats. And when you look at it currently, the past year, many people say that it is idlers and horror game in the indie environment, in the ecosystem, that are very popular right now. It doesn't mean that you cannot do another genre. It is just statistically safer, luckier if you prefer because you want to be lucky. Luck, you can leave it to randomness, or you can put it on your side. So I will try to make the game following what people say. As such, as idler are the way to go, and our games are the way to go right now for the year 2024. Of course, that might be would preferably be different next year. It would be another genre, probably. And so I will, as usual, there is the game dev doc in the description if you want to participate, but I'm still working on it. You can propose thing maybe, but I didn't have the time to add the last episodes in it. I would probably do it in the next days. And as usual, I have a segment to begin with the episode. It's the usual segment of looking for someone on the interwebs and help them with game development to slide in shameless promotion for our live stream. So let's see. How to show the player the goal of the game is that there is no clear goal. I saw someone a video today about I think it's YouTuber who did a lot of game, and he liked the idea of not telling the players and having the mechanics so clear that the player don't need text to explain it. And I thought it was I agreed with the idea that the game should be clear enough to not need textual explanation. I think that if, sorry for that, but it's this video, he says he's talking about that. If you want to look at it, it's Thomas Brush, and it's about like he's talking from experience, so I would say it's a good advice. That's not the point. It's like one of the first point he made. No, it's not this one. No, probably not the first. I saw a flash there. I think it's a good idea to cut to make the timestamp in the description. Yeah, that's the one. Don't be afraid to tell the player what's going on. I think it's right if your mechanics is too complex, but I guess that if your mechanic is not complex, you should avoid. I hate having this in my games. It's one of the thing I would that would make me lower my my rating for a game. It's when there are pop-ups and text to read. But I'm just one guy, so that's not a big deal. It can be a sacrifice to make, and like he explained, one of the game he chose to explain with is I don't remember. You don't hear.
In the world, or an NPC tells you, but they tell you in a
you are not seeing
with a world
building
flair, as opposed to just being exactly what to do.
I always forget. Almost
now,
always.
Cool. And frankly, I would rather that be how you teach the player about a mechanic than some like overlay. But I just want to say it's okay to do an overlay, especially as indies. So for me, we had, I think, 5 or 6 different mechanics in the game in Twisted Tower where
sorry for that. I'm trying to. I need to set it first. It lost my OBS, lost my monitor.
And the confusion stacks up to a point where they get frustrated.
Okay, I think
because they almost feel blind playing the game. So don't be afraid to just tell the player what's going on. So that's what I told myself. I said, all right, I'm not going to be afraid of this anymore. I'm giving you a frickin' overlay. And I put the overlay on screen when they enter a trigger zone and it says, this is this. This is how you use it. Press X for X, right? Very, very straightforward. No world building, no NPC trying to teach you. Guys, it's okay to do that. It's okay to use UI and overlays to teach the player what's playing the game. So don't be afraid to just tell the player what's going on. We would have beta testers play the game and they had no idea what was going on. And no matter how hard I tried. So the way I used to make my games is I wanted every teaching moment to be integrated into the world so it doesn't break immersion. Okay, so an example of this is Half-Life. Half-Life does this really, really well. Everything you learn is pretty much just learned in the world, or an NPC tells you, but they tell you in a
Okay,
with
I
a
just
world.
wanted to remember what was the game. It's Half-Life he gives as an example, but all game were like that. They didn't have all the tools we have in game engine. So like first stage Mario, like Nintendo. When Mario, like not the Donkey Kong, it was self-evident what you had to do. But the mechanics are very simple, and that might not be what you want. Maybe if your mechanic is simple, very simple, the game is simple, you don't need to explain. You see that it flashes. People were new video game were not complex in that at that time, so it was easy to see that okay, there is something with front eyebrows, and there are blocks that are shiny. So people usually didn't spend a lot of time knowing all the mechanics of the game in the first few frames of the game. You know almost everything except like going into tunnels or using weapons. But I guess there is one weapon there, but you understand the principle. Everything in the first frame is all the mechanics of the game. So ideally, you want your tutorial to be that simple, but in our era of video games, that is not the case anymore, because you don't want to make simples. Simples game like that have covered most of anything that is possible. Of course, you can find a special idea that people never thought of, but usually all the mechanics in those kind of game have been done, and I don't like to repeat a word, but it's now saturated. Those kind of game are falling. The trends are not very popular anymore. There is something I heard from level design teacher, is that now in 3D level design they use lights, like spotlights, to say to the player, this is where you need to go, or anything that is shinier than the rest. Let's see what people say. I'm making a survival sandbox game where you are completely free, and after the tutorial, where basic mechanics are shown, the player has complete freedom of location action, and the goal is to experiment with mechanics of the game and have fun. The game is more of an experience than a classic game, but as many testers test the game, it is really hit or miss. Either the player has great time doing some ridiculous stuff and experimenting, doing what is expected of them, or they roam the map and don't know what to do. And here comes my problem: how to encourage player to experiment and discover with newly found items, and tell player at the start of the game, in this game you can literally literally Literally, literally,
Literally.
literally, literally do everything you please. The goal of the game is to experiment and have fun, naturally without telling them it do some pop-up, as we don't like to do. Well, why not tell them that explicitly? If you want those people to enjoy the game, you can add a clear goal. Maybe you can reward players for engaging in a mechanic without forcing an end goals. Freedom is a lie, even for a sandbox game. You have to define the rules. I think many people have answered, but yeah, I don't think, because light sometimes is not really fun, but doesn't seem to have people answered that. I will keep it on the side. How to get the real feedback. How to go through faster on my 2D array. AP. I am a beginner in game making and in programming in general. I have a problem. The logic of my game is based on a 2D array. Everything happens in that array. It is like a tile map. The simplest logic I am trying to achieve is that if the element of the matrix is 1, do certain thing with it. If it is 0, do nothing. Do I have to walk through the whole matrix using 2 for loops one by one, or is it faster way to do this? I have like a thousand cell by a thousand cell on the screen at the same time. If you don't know, yeah, that's what what I was going to say. The big O. Still, then you have to check every cell, and your best possible time would be O, and a nested loop for a 2D array would meet that criteria. You want to find another way, but I think I need to see the complete code to tell him, like, okay, you need to avoid the 2 for loop, or finding another way other than an array. It's too complex for just our starting segment. How to learn game dev, but the complicated parts. How to build a portfolio. You will need to do 3 things to start. Fundamental about the use in engine. What he means by the complicated part. I've been an obvious game dev for 2 years now. I've got some things for working, love them, abandon them, and all the regular stuff right now. I want to get into a more technical part of game development, like understand what my engine is doing behind the scene, how to make my own, what various algorithms for optimization are, etc. So basically something like software engineering at uni, but just the game dev part. Are there any good remote courses, books, or school that you recommend? I don't like to answer that, because I would like to focus on beginners first. how to build a portfolio. My game is not fun. This is how I discovered it. Game Jam. I will leave them. Hello. I'm sure this has already been asked, but I'd like my own post to get suggestion on. I have an undergrad and I'm going back to school to complete a game software development program at Denmark. The thing is, they don't look a lot at the portfolio in the game development. They might take a look, make your code clean and everything, but in my experience, that's not what made me have an internship. I was so relaxed, like in the interview, they just wanted someone. So, but that might not be a good example for someone who wants to work like for a big place. You need to look at what people say about the big place. You can find online people who would say what are the technical tests they make you to, like you want to work for Bethesda or Ubisoft. You can find what are the tests what kind of tests you will pass, and I think that most of the people I know, like my teachers and people who work in the industry, say is that it's not your portfolio or your it's not so much your portfolio or your it just needs to look good. It's clean if they happen to take a look. Mine is not, and I didn't want to go to keep working after my college degree, so I wanted to start my own. So I didn't care too much about it, but I still got an internship. And but for big companies, it's more as I said, my teachers, anyone working in the industry would say it's more the contact you have with people. You will most likely enter a big company by knowing someone who works there, like a friend of a friend, a family member, friend of a family member, going to game jams, meeting people who will end up working there eventually, or are already working there, but that would be lucky. That would be luck to find like do a game jam and find someone who be in a team, because there are game jam where they team people together, or you can just ask for people if you can work with them. I don't know if COVID made the game jam more online, but there are live game jam where you can go there and sleep there. People bring their computer and they sleep on the floor, because it's like a weekend game jam. There are game jam like that. Um, so game jams, events, but events might be tough a bit because you are not stuck with someone like in a game jam, and you don't have as much interaction. No promotion for me. My game is not fun yet. This is how I discovered it. Yesterday, I was watching Bite Me Games dev stream, Onyx was working on a train mechanic for his game and was testing it by playing through the game, trying to stay alive long enough to see if his code worked. I messaged him suggesting that he had a debug parameter to make the character invincible. It seemed like a more efficient way to test the train, but his response really stuck with me. He said it's crucial to playtest your game as much as possible. Playing the core mechanics frequently helps ensure that they work as intended and feels right. Later, while working on my own game, I realized I'd been doing the exact opposite. I created multiple debug tools to avoid playing the core mechanics of my game. Why? I told myself it was to save time, but the truth is, I was just getting bored of the gameplay. That moment was a wake-up call. If I'm not enjoying the core gameplay loop, why would anyone else? Now, instead of building more shortcuts for debugging, I'm focused on improving the core experience. This simple lesson was a game changer for me, and I wanted to share it in case it resonates with anyone else. And that makes me think about how to write a good story, how to draw a good drawing, how to make a beautiful character, how to make something that is good to someone else. The first step before showing it to other people and making them review it is to feel what you feel when you do it, when you see it. You need, because we are not used to see the world as artists when you are not an artist, but I've been an artist all my life, and you need to feel something when you are like drawing a picture. You are trying to make you feel what people will feel when they see the final result. So when you make a gameplay, you need the gameplay to feel like cool, and you can't stop playing. Like, well, you create your game mechanics and you can't stop. You just um, that's what you need to reach. You need to be in the place of the person that will play. And of course, some people will create games. Sometimes I've seen that I've seen like some indie games doing a walk, running on the walls, walk, running on walls, game mechanics, and difficult combination of jumping and running on walls, and very specific like landing on floor and wall. Sorry for repeating. And then to end up giving doing a gameplay, and then the players are unable to do what the programmer was doing. So you end up if you are making mechanics that is very like skill, you need skills to control it. You will end up being better than anyone because you are making the mechanics. And then when you do the play test, people are unable to do anything that you were able to do. So sometimes when you like hardcore mechanics, you need it to be if it's the genre like player likes this kind of thing, you need to that to be the like evident, like I would say, Souls-like games. It's like a specific kind of player that likes the sadomasochism, like always repeating a certain part of the game until you end up being able to hit the next checkpoint. Roguelikes and as games as such, which are very, to me, it's not my kind of game, and I some kind of not hate it, but when I see the tag roguelike, that's an indication that I will most likely not like the game, and I usually don't buy roguelike game or soul-like game. But what I was seeing is that sometimes you make mechanics, you are too much in it, and the emotion you have is become like your own. So there are two extremes to that. I would not self-promote on this one. Is you using AI around? No, it's not. It doesn't make it specifically easier. I'm making my first game on Unreal. It won't help you sell a game, probably not. As I saw, like a YouTuber making a game in Unreal today, and it was not a sole market friendly game. Is rewarding, but okay, let's read it. I'm making my first game on Unreal 5, and soloing a huge project is rewarding, but also very tedious. I also have no idea how to code. Would it be wrong for me to have AI help me write my code, help with voice acting, and with some of the art in the game? I have $0 budget. It would be hard because most of them are paying, and if you don't want to pay, you need to put the voice model on your GPU, and they usually very large. You can use Obama, which is a little software where you can download different models. You need to find the specific models you want, like a text-to-speech model. So there are many models that would need to fit on your GPU, and the player would need to use your GPU, or you can put it on a cloud GPU that you can find. There are many popular places where you can buy a cloud GPU and put any model on them. But it's just like if you have many players, you will need to pay per month the cloud GPU. You can use OpenAI API for the voice and everything else. Like OpenAI would be, I would say, the easiest one. You just use the API and you use their voice, their text to speech, their everything. I think that would be the easiest one. There are AI for Unreal Engine, but they are not all free. There are some that are free now and some that aren't free. Let's see that. Also, Unreal gives assets every 2 days per month. You can like I do since a few years now. You can set your when they do it. It's Tuesday, but I mark it Wednesday, so I'm sure that it's available. Right now there's a bug. I can take them. I don't know why, but usually I can take the free assets that are like sometimes they are hundreds of dollars. This month they are not that high. Let's see. I have the free AI ones in my library. This is all the assets I got by waiting every 2 months. A few months ago it was every month. Now it's every 2 months. Since they added a fab, it's every 2 months they give. Okay, there is Convey AI, which is free, but I think you need to put. They have a platform, and I think there's part that is free, like you have the basic voice for free. But if you want a more advanced voice and advanced characters, you can set your characters and anything like the voice of a female. Last time I've checked, there are no language yet, I think. So free to test. And the dev is $22, so it's not free. Except if you put it on your GPU and you run it for all your players, which is not easy. It's hard to have a computer running. You need to pay your electricity. You need when there will be more player using your GPU, that will be, you need a good connection. You understand the principle of how hard it is. You are almost better paying Convey AI $20 a month. But when you are doing a game, it's part of your enterprise, so you have a budget, and a budget is what you can use, and your budget is what you made last year or previous project. So people would use Convey AI. They had previous game which they made money from, and they took this money to infuse it in another project inside the company instead of giving it as a salary to themselves. So eventually, preferably, you would start with a project without AI, because your budget should not incorporate things that you didn't pay for. You don't want to start by an enterprise by having a positive debt. The positive debt is when you know that it will be successful, and you can have debts that you accumulate, like every billionaire on the planet, they are in debt. Like let's say Elon Musk debt. It's called positive debt. Because they can afford it. 13 billion. They can afford it because they do project with shareholders, and then bankers allow because they know they produce projects that are successful, and so on and so on. They have a portfolio, and you are not there. You are not. So as you begin, you try to avoid having that. So that's it for AI. The simplest one, I would say, it's using the API of OpenAI or Convey. OpenAI have variation of voice. I think Convey might now have the variation in voices, like emotions and things like that. What else? Is there another AI thing in Unreal? So if you want to make a project with me, I have all of those assets in Unreal for free. There are some assets that are usable in Unity. They are cross platforms sometimes. So I will, of course, probably use some of them. This one I use it for my homework. This one too. Is there another AI stuff? I think that would be for my unsuccessful self-promotion today, and we will start the usual program, the official program. I don't know if Convey use Unity. That was look Convey AI. Yeah, they use Unity. So it's I think is the one of the most known AI by a large language model that is tailored to a game engine. So that's it. Okay, I think I will just leave this no self-promotion for today, and we go to the theme of the day, a word that is not appreciated by everyone. I was trying to see why. So, politics, ideation, process, ideation. It's not. It's considered like managing jargon, which some people don't like because it's used by manager and people who are not creative. But it's a good label to put into a box everything I want to talk about today. So the methods. I don't like brainstorming because good idea don't come from brainstorm. In my case, I think I saw a TEDx or someone like Simon Sinek talking about how brainstorming are not very good. They like everyone put an idea, and sometimes there are tension between people, and people don't like other people, don't like everyone, and they try to shut them or laugh at their ideas. So when you are in a team environment, some people are used to not talk when some other people are there, and some good ideas are not on the paper. That's not the reason why I don't like brainstorm. I'm not someone who will get shut by things I want to say, shut by someone who doesn't like what I say. But that's not what I don't like about brainstorm. Brainstorming is I usually have a good idea when I'm not in and that's the case for most people, I guess. When I'm not in using words with my mouth, like when I'm speaking, the part of my brain which is used for speaking is not the parts that are useful for imagination. That's been studied. It's called the default mode network, which that is the mode in which the brain has to be in order to have some kind of fertile imagination. And when you speak and you count number, or you are focused with the frontal cortex, I think when you are not using your visual cortex and everything is more like in the front, your brain is animated, you are not tired, it wakes you up. These moments are more like attention network in the brain. That's how I'll call it. And when I'm having a good idea, it's when I'm walking into a repetitive path. Just walking sometimes is enough. Not sitting at the table with many people. That's the opposite of default mode network. I would put one at the trailer for a documentary that I always need to. Also, you can watch on my channel my first live stream. I talked about how to get good ideas. Sorry. Content playlist. This is not the good channel. This is so my first live stream is this one, how to have your greatest idea. I explain a bit more what I'm telling you right now about how the brain is, why in history we started learning how to have imagination. People, inventors, went into a similar process. Some inventors, some writer, not all of them. Some scientists, some writers. I list them. There is a list in my video if you want to check that out. I should have. It's a PDF right there. And I give the sources. I want to watch this trailer with you. It's if you have Netflix and if it's still on there.
Ideation machine. Your brain is an association machine. It connects things together.
Why are memories so unreliable?
About 50% of the details of that memory change in a year, even though most people are convinced they're 100% right.
For thousands of years, humans have seen dreams as some kind of window into our deeper selves.
The brain in REM sleep looks uniquely different from any other time.
We keep inventing new reasons to be anxious.
Anxiety is the most common mental illness.
Why do so many of us feel this way? And what can we do about it?
Noticing.
So the precise one is not all the episode. It's one episode. It's the dream episode. I would say I would suggest to watch. So I'll just check if I can find the name. Creativity, I think is. Well, yeah, it's the creativity, and it's about when you are in the state of mind when you're about to fall asleep. You enter like a REM sleep, and you start having like some kind of visual, and you can have haha moments like many inventors and people had in history. I had all the sources there. Einstein. There was a guy working, a scientist working with him, who did a biography with about Einstein, and he says that Einstein once said to him that he had the idea of relativity in a dream, and there are many other like Alfred Russel Wallace, and the list is it's not like a super large review list. It's not like 100 million of people, but it's quite a lot of people who had experience where they are like in transition state between awake and sleep, and add ideas in science, music, anything. And to have this, as I said in this live stream, I had a few years ago. I had how do we say, narcolepsy. Narcolepsy. It's when you fall asleep at any time. I was having like sleep apnea because I was obese, extreme obese. But how do we say? Morbid obese, and I had sleep apnea, and then I used to fall asleep and have like a lightning bolt ideas that was like things very precise that I could put in my art and work. And now I don't have this ability to fall asleep as easy as as before, since I lost a lot of weight. And but I have techniques to go back to this imaginary realm, which are the you need to put yourself into a sleeping state, and a good way is like sleep sound. You want something that does not have like high pitch notes, like something that is constantly the same. I like this one to sleep. I use it to block the noise around me. But to fall asleep, I would go for more of a music, like a wave, rather than music, because music, there are pitches, high pitch notes that can be distracting. Let's see. This can be. It's if you feel like it would, but the fact that it's wave back and forth, I hear the sound going up and down. That might be for me too distracting. Sometimes waves come like the issue is that it makes a wave like a water wave, but I'm looking for like electronic wave sound. How do they say in those kind of video? They don't use wave, they use frequency. Frequency. can be, but you can see that there's too many variation. You vary something like more like a hum. Almost there is like little birds that are distracting you. You understand the principle. Try to find something that won't distract you. One I like is like deep brown noise. This one is very smooth. It's very constant. And then you just put yourself in position to fall asleep. Like your head sometimes would tend to fall like that. You try to keep it hanging somewhere. And then usually you won't have an idea right away. Like on the first shot, you need to do it many times. You need to put yourself like every day in this state. That way, you can have many idea often. At the point that you almost always in a semi state of sleeping, and then you can arrive at the brainstorm and be throwing many ideas at once. But it's not really a bad thing. A brainstorm. We will do one right away. Let's see if there is someone online. I'm so used to not having people watching the stream while it's live, so I don't watch I don't look at the chat. No one. People are watching my stream, like the one that are not live, but they don't watch the one that are live. Like I have 2 new views on the live stream of yesterday, and they just appeared while I was doing the live stream. So people don't want to watch me live; they just want to watch my recorded lives. Okay, so I will put the link on Facebook. Come join us. Let's see that. The technique where the basic business is to get a group together and have them share their idea freely without judgment. The goal is to generate as many ideas as possible, regardless of whether they are good or bad. Once the brainstorming session is over, the group can evaluate the ideas and narrow them down to the best one. What I would say, if you are a big group like 3 or 2, like 3 people or more, not 2. You are 3 people or more, like you have in the studio, and you are like 4 or 5 people, and there are dynamics where some people don't talk because of other people opinions. A trick that you can do is to make them write the idea on like sticking papers. Then you collect the papers. One person that leads the brainstorm to collect the papers, and they stick them without anyone knowing who had the idea. And you did this for bug or for project 3. What do we call it? When you are in a new epic, you're creating a new epic for a new project, and then you either address the issue, the thing you want to change. So people write things they want to change and things they want to better. So you don't want you want this to be anonymous also, because some people will be afraid to say I don't like the camera system, but I don't say who they did, but I don't like the camera system because, and of course they should not say who did, they should not say I don't like the camera system that Kevin did, but you understand the principle. No name. So you, as a manager of the brainstorm, you would avoid reading the name if there are accusations. That way you don't create this moment of people being silenced and being put in their silent mode. Idea mapping. This process began with brainstorming a central idea and then developing a set idea by adding related concepts and details. The result is a map or diagram that visually captures the relationship between ideas. This technique can be used individually in a group. I will just put back the live stream. I just forgot about it. The chat. Okay, idea mapping, I would say since it's similar, you do the same. Like someone manage the brainstorm with the anonymous stickers, and this person is the sole person doing the mapping. You don't let your team put the sticker on the wall, on the board. S.C.A.M.P.E.R. S.C.A.M.P.E.R is an acronym for the 7 different aspects of ideation around with this idea: resolve, substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to other use, eliminate. Yeah, I did some kind of thing like that at my job. It was the one where you say this, I don't like this system. We did that at my last job, and then you had like a star shape for the diagram, and then people put sticker in each of the sector. I don't know about it. It's like when you are an employer and you want your employee to participate in the construction. You want them to show love to your project. It's how it feels like. But when it's not your project, that's the issue. It's not the project of your employees, it's your project. So they will never feel what you feel about the project. If you want your employee to feel like you feel for your project, it needs to be theirs too. but it's come with the issue of having to sell them, give them sharehold. Like I think Elon Musk do with the Tesla employee. I think, I'm not sure. The 5 whys technique. The 5 whys technique is a simple yet powerful tool for driving to the root cause of a problem. The basis of the technique is to ask why 5 times to identify. I don't like this because usually when I do this, you run. It's like you're making yourself running out of idea, like brainstorming does. Your employee will like run out very fast. They will be. It's just like, how fast can you run? And it's like someday people run very slow. Some other day they are more awake and more in shape, and they run better. And brainstorm should be like 1 week of brainstorm by going to walk and doing meditation, because the good idea won't happen in one comprised session. That's what I would say. But you work in a time restraint environment because you are an enterprise trained by budget requirements. POG matrix. The decision matrix method, also POG method or POG concept selection, invented by Stuart POG, is a qualitative technique used to rank the multi-dimensional option of an option set. It is frequently used in engineering for making design decision, but can also be used to rank investment. I don't know about this basic decision matrix. I've seen people use that, but I never used a decision matrix. But I understand the principle. It's like I've seen it in the. I think it was the creator of the. It's one of the YouTuber that does some kind of similar thing as me. And you have an array of idea and weight the pros and cons and say I can do this. If I do this, I get this. Then you tick the column and array. If I do this in the next array and the next column, and I have this, then X. And if I do this, then the next column, X array, I can't do it. 0. You understand the principle? I don't think it's just a way to. What choice is what choice, like in the column, an array would end up having the most X. Let's say it would be the one that is the most preferable choice. Morphological analysis. Is a method of exploring possible solution to a multi-dimensional, non-quantified complex problem. It was developed by Swiss astronomer Fritz Zwicky. A general morphologist has found use in field using engineering design, technological forecasting, organizational development and policy analysis. General morphology was developed by Fritzsky, the Bulgarian-born Swiss national astrophysicist based at the California Institute of Technology, among others. Zicki applied morphological analysis to astronomical studies and jet and rocket propulsion systems as a problem structuring and problem solving technique. Morphological analysis was designed for multidimensional, non-quantifiable problems where causal modeling and simulation do not function well or at all. I want to know what it is. Problem that involve many governing factors where most of them cannot be expressed numerically can be well suited for morphological. I will look at a visual that will be faster. Element A, variation A, AA. Element B, variation A, BA. Okay. I think it's similar to a bit similar to the previous one, bug matrix. 6 thinking at Edward Bono, and associated idea of parallel thinking provide a means for grouping to plan thinking processes in detail. The premise of the method is that the human brain thinks in a number of distinct ways, which can be deliberately challenged and hence planned for use in a structured way, allowing one to develop tactics for thinking about particular issues. The Bono identified 6 distinct directions in which the brain can be challenged. In each of these directions, the brain will identify and bring into conscious thought certain aspects of issues being considered: gut instinct, pessimistic judgment, neutral facts. Some may feel that using the act is unnatural, uncomfortable, or even counterproductive and against their better judgment. A compelling example presented is sensitivity to mismatch stimuli. This is presented as a variable survival instinct because in the natural world, the thing that is out of the ordinary may well be dangerous. This mode is identified as the root of negative judgment and critical thinking. Colored hats are used as metaphors for each direction. Switching to a direction is symbolized by the act of putting on a colored hat, either literally or metaphorically. This metaphor of using an imaginary hat or cap is a symbol for a different thinking direction, was first mentioned by Bono as early as 1971 in his book Lateral Thinking for Management. When describing a brainstorming framework, these metaphors allow for a more complete and elaborate segmentation of the thinking directions. The 6 thinking acts indicates the problem and solution about an idea the thinker may be come up with. Similarly, the 5-stage of thinking method is a set of tools corresponding to all 6 thinking at first appears in the group. Okay, let's go with the big picture managing. Technique: consider all factors. First, important priorities. Facts and information. Feeling and emotion and ego. Negative: I don't understand. I need someone using it because I don't understand. Just saying what are the hats is not useful. Maybe a diagram like this. The white hat data, facts, information, what we know and what we out to find out. Optimism, possibility, upside, potential, manage the process, listen, direct attention, integrate, move, forward, feeling, reaction, vibe. Seems a bit interesting. It seems a bit interesting.
One of my most life-changing moments took place back in college. I was giving a presentation on the product I had been developing over the semester, and midway through my talk, the professor interrupted with a question that caught me off guard. "Can we see the other concepts you worked on?" My face turned red. The answer was no, because I didn't have any. I was presenting the only idea I had worked on, because I thought it was great. The instructor was less than impressed. Walking out of the classroom a little while later, I looked down at notes my instructor had left for me on my assignment. There, scribbled in red pen, were instructions that would fundamentally change how I approach my ideas. Research the 6 thinking hats method. 6 thinking hats is a system designed in the 1980s by the psychologist and inventor Edward de Bono. The process involves wearing different imaginary hats, which represent different mindsets and emotions, allowing people to look at an idea from various angles with a different focus each time. The main difficulty of thinking is confusion, de Bono has said. We try to do too much at once. Emotions, information, logic, hope, and creativity all crowd in on us. It is like juggling with too many balls. Originally developed as a way to make meetings more productive, 6 thinking hats has since been adopted by the creative world as a way to critique ideas. The method allows you to be creative and bold in a safe space, while forcing you to also be honest and realistic. While you can use it in meetings, I like to use it on my own. I think of it as having a personal team of consultants, each with their own expertise. But in this case, they're all living inside my brain. The 6 thinking hats are as follows. The blue hat, also known as the management hat, is used at the start of the conversation to define the outlines of an idea, and at the end to summarize and draw conclusions. With this hat, you're stepping back and getting the 10,000-foot view of your idea, getting a sense of what to look at during and after the critique. Next comes the white hat. When wearing this hat, you are looking for facts and data. This should be the first hat you use after setting your outline, as it allows you to establish relevant facts and information about your idea. Ask yourself, what is the concept in its basic form? What is its purpose? Who does it serve? You should also use this hat to discover any gaps in your knowledge and understanding of your concept. The yellow hat brings a bit of positivity and establishes the value of what you're working on. Ask yourself, what is great about your idea? What benefits would it bring? Remember to keep your enthusiasm in check though. Look for the true value in the concept and keep expectations realistic. The red hat comes next. This is where you can get a little emotional. With this hat on, you're looking for the emotive response you get from your idea. Ask yourself, how does this make me feel? What is my reaction when I first see this idea? Then think outside yourself. What would a user's reaction be if they had never seen it before? Now, we flip things upside down and get ruthlessly negative with the black hat. Ask yourself, why wouldn't your idea work? What are the issues and flaws? What are the drawbacks? By uncovering the potential problems, you can remove them and develop a stronger concept. Be careful not to bring in this hat too early in the discussions, as it can hinder any positive ideas that may come up. It's time to let your mind off the leash with the green hat. Now that you're aware of potential issues and flaws, how are you going to work through them? Ask yourself, what can you improve? What can be reiterated? Or is there a completely fresh idea forming in your head? If so, what is it? This is where you can get creative and begin fresh brainstorming. Use everything you have gained from the exercise to begin developing new ideas and directions. The day I learned about the 6 thinking hats was the day I learned an important, if uncomfortable, lesson. Even if you're amped about an idea, even if you've run through it in your head 100 times, sketched out a logo, and prepared to release it to wild acclaim, that idea may still suck. Or, at the very least, it may need to be seriously refined. When you hold on too tightly to your original concept because of your pride or your ego, it blinds you to the possibilities ahead. The 6th thing on. I looked down at notes how I approached the 80s by the psychologist and inventor Edward's way of thinking is confusion. De Bono has a crowd in on us. It is like juggling with two adopted by the creator.
Okay, I will just keep them there for later. I will use them. The method of Loki. The method of Loki is a strategy for memorizing new information. It is a mnemonic device that involves the visualization of placing pieces of information around a room and then realizing yourself picking the information up. This I watched some channel about memorization, and this is one the really a memorization technique that is used still today. This method is known as memory palace. Yeah, when you look at YouTubers talking, giving tricks on memorization, the people who memorize like number pi and things like that, they will. This method is still in use today. Body storming. Body storming is a creative process that involves using the body to stimulate various action and explore different solutions to a problem. The term was coined by Jes van Hoeven, who developed the process as a way to overcome the limits of traditional brainstorming. With body storming, participants are encouraged to physically act out possible solutions to a problem, allowing for a more immersive and realistic exploration of potential solutions. The process can be used alone or in groups and is often used in conjunction with other ideation techniques such as role-playing and mind mapping. Body storming is an effective way to generate new ideas that move seriously including product design, brainwriting. I'm still not sure what it is. The idea is to imagine what it would be like if the product existed and act as though it exists. Ideally, in the place it would be used, it is going through an idea with improvised artifacts and physical activities. Yeah, it's good when you have a physical object that the product, like with interaction with the physical world, like a machine or something like that, an arcade machine or something like that. But it's not for us. They don't talk about the it's right now. I've seen the method like the falling asleep method. It reached a lot of I would use a pejorative term like spiritual platforms like Gaia or something like that, and they call it the theta state. But there are scientific studies on the subject. They don't use a term like theta state or other terms. I remember watching like a Discovery. The Discovery is going like a bit like a spiritual route. This Einstein used this theta state. Einstein, and I was like, oh, what WTF is going on? I'm not sure if it's this one. Also, they will use the
Thomas Edison was one of the great inventors
Thomas
of
Edison too. I never found the sources about the technique people say. Like they say he put metal cooking stuff on the floor, and when he drop balls on them when he fall asleep, that woke him up. But I never found the sources for that. But the one I found, I put them in the PDF. And when you are trying to fall asleep, I forgot to say is that I noticed that a few things that occurs in the transition. I wanted to be conscious because when you fall asleep and you start dreaming, you lose consciousness. But right now I did it so many times that I almost conscious when it occurs. Something tells me that I'm conscious. When I'm unconscious, the thing is that sometime even nowadays I fell asleep completely unconsciously. I don't remember. That's the thing when you lose consciousness, when you fall asleep, you don't remember the transition of going into the dream state. But the more and more I'm awake when I'm transitioning, especially if I do it like not in my bed, like sitting at my desk. And the signs that I noticed that occurs by itself is that when I see textures like grass or sand, or like when you look at the floor and you see perspective and you see a ball, like almost like orthographic vision. This helps to fall asleep, but this is what I notice is occurring when I transition. I see I should start seeing 3D object with texture, 3D space, and to help me, since I noticed that was occurring, to help me fall asleep, I started like trying to imagine like bird pebbles, things that texture that are easy to imagine, and that helps. And trying to imagine a scene, a 3D scene. I give tips in the live stream, like imagining an X, and then imagining that you are in front seat in the train, and you're looking at the real train going in perspective. The X helps starting triggering your visual cortex, and to add up, in the Netflix documentary, they talk about what is occurring in the transition, and it confirmed a bit this idea of seeing textures. Is that the prefrontal, I think it's the prefrontal cortex is shutting down and the visual cortex is activating, and in real the REM sleep starts. So that's why that fall into the practice, the effect that I experience of seeing textures while falling asleep. So they call it theta. I don't mock spiritual science terms. Yeah, those terms are not used in science. They call it like another name. I think it is my PDF. Dmitry Mendeleev, he doesn't affirm to have rammed the periodic table, but he didn't say no to interviewer back in the days. Didn't say no, it's not in the. He just say it's not like you say. He says that to the interviewer. It's not what you thought, you think. But the interviewer comes with a backstory that Mendeleev had seen the periodic table in a dream. It's the scientists section. I don't think I will find it. But there is another term in science for this state, like of course there is the REM sleep state. Rapid eye movement, the default mode network. This is not when you are asleep. This is when I think you are awake. That is the opposite. I'm not sure. Media context. You see there's the being active. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was not sure, but oh, maybe I'm wrong. It is best known as for being active when a person is not focused. Oh yeah, it's when you start falling like asleep, daydreaming, when you walk It's the good one. It's the REM sleep, the one who leads to REM sleep. And REM sleep, you starting to fall asleep. When you walk, you have you can. People have mentioned many writers or inventor doing walks to have idea, because you enter like a hypnotic state like this, daydreaming. So what I did in the last few days, I did thinking and walking, watching a video about the game. So that's my method. I watch a lot of things, and my brain is just making like the arranging things up. And when I do REM sleep, it's like when your brain is like putting things together when you dream, and it comes up with a more precise idea, a more suitable idea. But it's good to do those some kind of conscious return on it and go back to like REM sleep or walking or doing a repetitive. I used to do it in my bath with the shower on my head when I was living in a place where hot water was part of the rent. So it was, I could run water all for a very long time, so I could take long baths, but now I can't. So I would go for the next 635 method. 635. Are we really there? It was there. Okay. A group structure brainstorming technique aimed at aiding innovation. It's 6:12. I will go to the French live stream soon. Aimed at aiding innovation process by stimulating creativity. Developed by Bernd Rothbach, who originally published it in German sales magazine, the Upswatch Graph. In brief, it consists of 6 participants supervised by a moderator who are required to write down 3 ideas on a specific worksheet within 5 minutes. This is also the etymology of the methodology name. The outcome after 6 rounds, during which participants swap their worksheet, passing them on the team members sitting at their right, is 1A titled I'm completely lost. I was just reading for you. I will read for me just a bit. No, I don't like this method. Creativity techniques. I would also add up that the REM sleep thing is it's a bit old. Not in the pejorative sense. Like I mean, we might see like a new version in spirituality called Theta State, but it's very old. You can find a bit of similar process in the old writings, like in the Old Testament, when people are in trance and they have visions, or like a good example is like Adam when he falls. God puts him into a sleep state, and then he creates Eve from his side. There are other passages like that where the person is falling asleep and there is something occurring, a vision of them. So it's a concept that is not modern, that has been known for a long time. For project management purposes, group creativity techniques in problem solving. Often in programming, when you are stuck with a bug or how to structure something, and you've been working like crazy on it, like for 10 hours or 15 hours or like 3 hours even, just 3, it's a lot. A good thing is to go and do something else, and often, very very often, you come back and you have the solution just by letting go, or releasing the hold on the issue. It helps having another perspective. There is the duck trick, like a little plastic duck that you have to tell the plastic duck your problem, and by doing so, it helps you understand it better, because it makes you use another part of your brain, which is for speaking, and instead of being stuck in the other part that is used in silent mode of thinking, you use another part that can solve it differently. So I will take a break. I think I will from now on end the stream later than 6:30 and start the French live later too. I like longer streams. I'm into it. A study from 2014 involving 40 Chinese undergraduates found that performing a 30-minute meditation session each day for 7 days was sufficient to improve verbal and visual creativity as measured by the Torrance test of creativity thinking, due to the positive effect of meditation on emotional regulation. The same researchers also showed that in 2015 that short-term meditation training could also improve insight-based problem solving, the type of commonly associated with the eureka type moment of realization as measured by the remote association test. So you have many studies like that. I think I will add it in my next version of the first stream on sleep, because I prepared a document for return on it eventually by adding things to it on a note text thing. So next version I will add up this one. I hope that people will find this, will use this technique and maybe integrate it in with you and see if we can better it even further. This is the name. This is one of the name in science, hypnagogia, daydreaming, with the default mode network. And there is another name. I don't know if they will say it. It's like don't remember. It's a weird name. There is also a machine I talk about in the live stream. I think the other name I'm looking for is only a team of scientists, or some teams of scientists that use this other term. I will ask AI to see. Uh, no, it's really like a really short name. Yeah, I can't find it. Maybe if I look for this in my PDF. No. Oh, studies. If you want to read a study like that, you will be blocked by paywall, but you can still read it if you find a DOI, DIO. I don't remember, it's DOI or DIO. Where is it? There are none. You can borrow. Sometimes it's free, but it seems to doesn't have. I don't know if I can copy the like this. You have Sci.Pub. It's like platform to make the research free. Sometimes it doesn't work, especially if you don't have the IO. No. There is a study too that he made on narcoleptic people. They noticed they were more creative than other group of people. And this is for with music, performance, improvisation. They noticed that the default mode network help. I think it's that. I don't remember. Sometimes they don't even use like hypnagogia. It depends on the teams of researchers. They don't always use the same term. It's not a field like with which has a lot of how do we say, they don't have a strong network of scientists that work together, because these are sometimes separated by years, sometimes by countries, I guess, or who they don't seem to always use the same terms. Narcolepsy, same thing. This one doesn't work anymore. I can't find it. I will let it go. It was something like Zoom. I don't remember. It was a weird name with numbers. I don't remember. I thought I had it. Let's go. Okay, so meditation, walking, sleep and relaxation, as I said. This one I never found the sources. Let's see. 15. Yeah, the source is a website, and then you try to find the source of this one, and you don't find any. So sometimes you have to know Wikipedia is it's written by sometimes by student or like people who work for free. So the sources can be a bit weird. Distraction. Yeah, distraction. You need to do like something repetitive that makes you fall asleep a bit. So we will start our brainstorm. What can we use? We don't really need. We could use .io. And I will continue. I will give a short explanation in French. Also, I want to go over what I saw in French. I went over in French. It was the horror game, and there was a lot of PS1 graphics. like this game. It's not. I could do something like that, but I want to do something even simpler than 3D thing. That way, I can start with the smallest step with you. And you see there's a lot of like low quality. This one is a bit higher quality, but it's still like the texture are not 4K or this one is better graphics. It's multiplayer. The other next one are all multiplayers. And that's very hard for beginners. Yeah, I would highly suggest not to start with the multiplayer and neither LAN. Of course, our is all LAN multiplayers, and cabin. This one was single player. They are cabins. It's interesting. I like the idea of changing something, little things at every touch thing. Like this one is at every cabins that are in the factory. There is something different, and you have to check the ghost. It's interesting. I like this kind of idea. This one is a multiplayer with team, monster team, and player human teams. This one is it's a Freddy. I wanted to see what it was, but I wasn't. They are running on their brand, which is Five Nights at Freddy's. It looks like the movie that just went out. So they are not so indie anymore. I just wanted to see, and I thought it was someone using their name, like another indie, but they are the same creator of. They are the creator of the brand. Another online horror with archaeologists, I think, something like that. So I skipped them all, and I started to look at the new one we had it. Idlers. I will finish a bit before starting the brainstorm. I had two. One for my inspiration tonight. That I will take with us. I think it's this one. Yeah. It's similar to what I had in mind. I thought of like a idler with a hero. And there was another idler that inspired me a bit, which has some kind of, for me, it's this one. This one for me, when I think of idler, this is what I think of. It's not 90, but it's high enough. It's a lot of automation. Like you click at things to automate them, and it grows, and you do something else while it grows. We might take a look if you want. No one can say no because there's no one in the chat. So we will take a look. So as you see, you click when the automation is finished, you have to click to continue it. So I would like to make like a mix maybe between the two. between the little guy fighting idler and the factory thing. Idler RPG. That's interesting to me. With fighting stuff. Okay. I will keep them for inspiration. And see, the next we didn't took time to look. This one we saw it. It was the moose mining thing. Fish idol 2. And then it's starting to be a low rate. Yeah, I understand why. I will skip root run. I think we checked this in French. It's all like very basic visual with not much more than that as a visual. So to me, it's something it gives me like a bad vibe. I don't like when it's too lack of environment. I like environments. I like characters, but it needs an environment for me. Personal needs. So I think that's it. We have checked them all. We checked them as 1, 2. I think I skipped it because I was not too into it, most of them. So let's hide this. Let's go back to our Tio. Our thinking hat. I want to put it on the drive. Authorize. Continue. At first, raw.io can be frustrating, but you can get used to it. You have different kind of diagrams. You can learn about diagrams. Types of links and boxes. I did it in my course. So we will name it Ideation. I like to put an iterative number 0, 0, 1. It's perfect to put it first. You might have more than one, but even if it's the only one, it's a safe start. And then ideation Heigler. We might end up with many different ideas, and I will make like a vote, like in Google form, a vote, and give it on the description and the comment, and post it on forums later on Facebook and etc. Okay, so which is cool is that you can drag and drop what you want to use, be like with the title, with the items, and we can go along with what we need. This is an actor, which is a user when you do analysis and diagrams. We don't need it. Usually banks will for machine with multiple users. You will have different like actors that use a machine. I can't think of one specific case, like a bank withdraw machine. You have like user, you will have the admin, you will have maintenance, etc. Okay. I would like to have like I will start with main big ideas that I have. It's a bit sad to brainstorm alone. Maybe look at the first thinking hat will help. I want to check my courses notes, see if I can remember something that could be useful. Yes,
Creative world as a way to critique ideas. The method allows you to be creative and bold in a safe space, while forcing you to also be honest and realistic. While you can use it in meetings, I like to use it on my own. I think of it as having a personal team of consultants, each with their own expertise. But in this case, they're all living inside my brain. The 6 thinking hats are as follows. The blue hat, also known as the management hat, is used at the start of the conversation to define the outlines of an idea, and at the end to summarize and draw conclusions. With this hat, you're stepping back and getting the 10,000-foot view of your idea, getting a sense of what to look at during and after the critique. You're stepping back to summarize and draw conclusions, the outlines of an idea in my brain. The 6 thinking hats are as follows. The blue hat, also known as the management hat, is used at the start of the conversation to define the outlines of an idea.
Define the outlines of an idea. Define the outline. So we will define the outline of each idea. I just want to look if I had notes about brainstorm on my courses. PDF. Why would I open a PDF on sorry for that. This is the input system. Sorry for that. Open there. I wanted to open there. Open with wait. Open with. No, I don't think I have any. Okay, let's go. Blue app. Lay out the idea as there. Define the outline.
And at the end, to summarise and draw conclusions. With this hat, you're stepping back and getting the 10,000-foot view of your idea, getting a sense of what to look at during and after the critique. Next comes the white hat.
Okay. So we outline the idea that we can get. One of the idea is we'll use like bubble ideas. It's like a finger guy. Like a young boy beaten, like beaten young boy that start with or like, let's say young guy, that would be more fitting for a stream. Young guy with which start like Monte Cristo. Let's use like keep it simple. There's a term like KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. The Office. Wonder they used it.
Great advice. Hurts my feelings every time. Keep it simple, stupid. Great advice.
Keep it simple, stupid. So I will keep the sentence like Monte Cristo. You know the count of Monte Cristo count. The Count of Monte Cristo, the book by Dumas. It's a guy who's been imprisoned by someone, and he's thrown in prison, and a guy, and then he trained to escape the prison, and he gets revenge eventually, and that's like a big revenge movie. There are many version movie of this. Every like 10 years there's a version. There was one in French not long ago. There was one with the Jesus guy a couple years ago. What is his name? What is his name? What is his name? Yeah, this one. Jim Caviezel. Caviezel. So it fits the character Cristo. Monte Cristo. So Monte Cristo boy. One finger empire. Okay, this idea is that it's the idea of a boy, a boy who's like beaten up, poor boy, beaten up, and he is left like with just his finger working, and is like handicapped of all his other members. And then the player is this character with only one finger, and he has to like click interact with things like clicking, and then he has to like build himself an armor, a robotic armor that will help him move. Then he can configure his armor to move. And it would be like a one finger empire game. I don't know if one finger is used a lot in Steam. I would go for a name that is not used. One, I think it is probably, yeah. I remember this game. I think I own it. I own one of, yeah. It was cool. One finger. So one finger is not a good name. It's cool. It's a little arcade game. That's not our game. You have the mouse click below. Cool game for a few minutes. So one finger, why will not be a good name? We will brainstorm the name eventually. So that's one. There is other one that I thought in my meditation. It's like someone who is in a new arrives in a new apartment, and they find a door, like a mysterious door, like hidden behind the drawer in the kitchen or something like that. And then he opens the door, and then it's the player. The player eventually, like, let's say he hears a knock, or there is a system that leads him to open the door, and the system can be random, like it can be a different thing. And then he opens the door, and then it's something very strange, like we could do something like random, like it's never the same thing each time the player restart the game. It's something different, and then you can do like he goes on a stair, then there is light at the, you see something light, and it's like a weird palace in stone, cut with the technology you can understand. And then it's like dark rock carved with high tech machinery or things like that. Like we can go on with different kind of things that could be randomly put there. Like we set 10 things different that could happen, and every time we could like make updates and add more with time. But it needs a mechanic like beyond the randomness. It's not an idler. It would be more like horror. There could be a idler version, but like horror. The door and idler. The idler would be more like you find a door, you go down. It's not a random. I would write like random or door to random room. The idler would more be like you go down. It would be like a top down, and then you can make tunnels in your underground house, the underground of your house. And I didn't find yet a mechanic, but I found it like motivating to have yourself. I always had the idea of having in my basement and making tunnels under other houses, and that could be like you find things. There could be different events that occurs that break the routine of the player, but you would like make tunnels and put like pillars to hold the terrain, and then go like at place like steal things in other houses, or something interesting that I can't find right now. That is like a new idea I had today, so it's not developed fully, but I will write it down. Basement house mining idler. It could be idler or clicker or like RPG. RPG. It's on RPG. Basement house mining. I would need to find the mechanics for that. I had another or idea from experience. For those who likes back room. How do they say the feeling of the back room is back room. I have it on the edge of my tongue, as we say in French. Back rooms. Liminal? Yeah, I think it's liminal, the word. Liminal space. Liminal space is like a repeating space or something. The transitional state between one point and the next, where a person is on the brink of something new but not quite there yet. Can be a physical space like a doorway. So I've been working as a janitor, and I had a lot of feeling of liminal spaces. So the game is a janitor horror game, and I had some like I wouldn't say stressing sensation, but liminal. The sensation you have when you watch those pictures. When you are alone in a big place, and the night is falling outside, and you are alone. You are the one will close the place. I always have. You see this, and this is how you feel as a janitor. So I have some stories where I can put in the game where that I can say some like I remember one weird time I went I had an assignment in a school, like a kid school, and everyone I started my shift when everyone was gone. I usually wanted to interact with less people as possible, so I started my shift as far in the night as I could. And then there was this place I had assignment. I wasn't I didn't have a permanent position at the time, so I had calls to replace sick janitors. So there was this school in the basement of the school. Usually it's in the basement. The room for the janitors. Sometimes there are no room. It's just the little cubicle. You stand up. You just stand up in the cubicle. But usually there's a room, and then there was a room, the room for the janitors. I arrived there. I had my schedule on the table, no one to meet me. Usually there is someone who, but often there was no one because you are called like a few hours before the shift because the janitor just called sick. So you arrive there late at night, no one to greet you, no one to tell you what to do. You have a list written on the paper. And then this place was weird because I arrived there and there was under the roof, the ceiling, there was like a little teddy bear thing on his neck on a string. And I start doing my shift. I go on the first door. So I usually that's what you do. You check every room. So I go on the first door, but it wasn't a room for living beings. It was full of gravel ruts. It was really weird, and like things down there, like a student desk falling apart, and was really weird. And there was just like a light, and the wall were not painted, like large gray brick, not painted, and there was like this liminal. It's not in between room. It's just like you are. There is a room that has no sense. There, it's not for living beings. It's still in construction, and there are other school like that where I went in the basement, but I wasn't alone, so it was as scary. There was a school like the basement was very weird. It was huge basement, like no wall. It was all the underneath of the school, and there was a ton of desk and desk and anything that is school related stuff that they put when they need space, and it was full of dust, and there was things like very old and like church church benches, and I can remember, but there was a ton of things like they put there, and it was there for 30 years or so. But there are other things that I would add to this game that would be things that I have experienced. Like, of course, it's one room like that is not enough. But I would do this game like full realistic, with the reflection on the floor, like I remember the drawing on the wall made by children and everything I remember. And you do your run, you do your run, and there are a little jump scare that I remember, like noise. Often you have a talkie-walkie, and you can play with that, like you hear something on the walkie, and it can be a jump scare inducing. Like you talk with someone and they answer. Noise in the corridor at the end, lights that close the classics. But I don't like classics. I would do things that are not done in horror games. I remember a scary situation. I went to do my shift, and then I opened my room. I had a room on my floor for me, and then there was another janitor hiding. I almost hit him with one of my broomstick. I stopped like right before his eye. So the janitor. What did I say about the room? It was not for living beings. The janitors. The janitors. The janitor's room. I like to not put too much idea. I think sometimes I prefer to have an idea that is more like developed or emotionally based, because it goes further and it's more interesting over time. So I will go to the French stream now. I think the 7 p.m. now would be good. So let's see, tomorrow I will continue this with the French friends, and see you tomorrow. If you want to encourage me, there is a tip platform in the description, or the Patreon. That will be very helpful for any of my project and keeping me doing those free teachings. So thank you, and see you tomorrow.